How do you start a YouTube? I'm really bad at shooting these. Okay. I don't want people to meet you. Just kidding. Shut up. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be telling stories because that is what I am known for. And that is what the people want, and I will give the people what they want. Shut up. Shut up. Recap. We're starting this over. Okay. Our first story, stop. Our first story today is from a girl named Reese Wagoner. It's a really short story, but she was with her uncle and they were driving to Las Vegas and they saw a hitchhiker on the side of the road. And for some reason, they decided to pick up the hitchhiker. She kept saying to her uncle that it wasn't a good idea, but he was like, we're gonna do it anyways. So they picked up the hitchhiker and they dropped him off to where he was supposed to be. And then about 2 days later, she found out in a newspaper that he was a serial killer that escaped prison and he was on the run. And when they dropped him off at his stop, he got out of the car and looked at them and said, okay, I'll leave you. As in, I guess I'll leave you alive. I don't know. But anyways, the moral of the story is don't give rides to strangers, especially serial killers. This next story is from a guy who is in 8th grade and he would like to stay anonymous. Throwback to elementary school, I know that we all had those crushes and stuff that it was just like, it's very meaningless, but you thought you had a crush on somebody and stuff. Anyways, so this guy, we're gonna name him Sam. Sam transferred to this other elementary school and he was only there for a week and this girl started to really like him. So she asked him out like a 5th grader would do, or however old they were. And he said no, but he was super nice about it. And then she started crying and then she tried to turn everybody against him. And then for the rest of the school year, she was very clingy towards him and he clearly did not want that from her and he told her multiple times that he didn't want that. And then fast forward, hair got in my mouth. And then fast
forward?
Well, I mean, I could say it if people weren't interrupting me. And then fast forward to the summer after 7th grade. Sam moved schools again. And then he decides to add her on Snapchat because they hadn't talked for a while, which I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. But he says it's because she had been through a lot and he knew that, so he decided to talk to her and catch up. And he felt like being a really good friend to her. And then a couple of times she says she's gonna kill herself. And she does this multiple times and then he talks her out of it. And he's super supportive and everything. But then his mom makes him block her. So then again, she gets mad and then she starts trying to turn his friends against him again. And then she's stopping at nothing to contact him over and over and over again because she's like a crazy stalker. And what, she's in like 7th grade. Was silly bands in 7th grade? What was I doing in 7th grade? When I was in 7th grade, I was reading The Hunger Games. Well, not really, it's kind of a lie because I don't really read them. When I was in 7th grade, I was still watching SpongeBob, and that is true.
Bitch, you still watch SpongeBob, what are you talking about? I still watch SpongeBob.
I do still watch, yeah, I do still watch SpongeBob, I'm not gonna lie. You're red, your face is red. So she tries to turn his friends against him again, but his friends are his good friends, so he explains everything and everything turns around and they understand what's going on. So then they all agree with him and they're all on his side and they all turn against her. And then things start to get really bad because she found another way to text him from multiple numbers because there's an app that you can buy and it's like a free texting app and you can use whatever number you want and just text people from it, and if they block you, you can just get another number from the app. So I'm sure she found out how to do that, so she started texting him from multiple numbers over and over again. So then weeks later, he starts getting threats from her saying that she's going to kill him and stab him on Halloween night. Oh yeah. Because he moved schools, but I think that was because after elementary school he had to go to a different school, but they still live in the same subdivision. So then it got really bad, so his mom had to go to the cops. And need I remind you, this is all happening in like 7th grade. Again, SpongeBob. And so it was getting really bad and she kept saying stuff to him like, it's your funeral, not mine. Cliche, am I right? So somehow she knew a lot of personal information about him and his family, and she knew a lot of stuff about his parents for some reason, and his friends, And for some reason, she knew his address, which is really creepy. And then she kept threatening him and saying that she was gonna show up at his house, and it scared him, of course. So then I guess that she was still obsessed with Sam, and she started dating these other guys just for them to harass Sam. So he just played it off pretty cool, I guess. He didn't really care. And then she also got 2 of her friends to text him and try to harass him, but then I guess he explained everything and they started to turn on her and they were on his side afterwards. And Sam's best friend was the girl's distant cousin, and so the girl was harassing Sam's best friend, which is weird because they're cousins. So I'm guessing there's not really like a POW ending to it, only because like what are you gonna do after you block her and call the cops on her? Like that's pretty much it. Next and final story. So next story, so this girl would like to stay anonymous as well, but I am going to call her Sarah because so Sarah was with her cousins and they were going to the pool, and the pool was closed when they got there, and I guess they weren't too happy about that, so they were like, we're gonna break in. So there was a window that was kind of open, but Sarah's cousins were too big to fit into the window, but Sarah could fit into the window. So they shoved her through the window and she got the keys and opened the door from the inside to let everybody in. So I guess they got into the pool and they were swimming around for a while, but then 30 minutes later they start to hear sirens. So the police were coming for them because I guess they triggered an alarm or somebody called the cops because they saw them in the pool. So then there's this store right next to the pool, so they hide behind the store. So then they hear a really loud banging noise, or I don't know, maybe it was like a gunshot noise. But then they see men coming in with guns, and then the security guard found them and they were like, oh, they're over here. And then they heard a gunshot. So apparently one of the guys tried to shoot them but failed to. So then everything calms down and they decide that they're gonna tell them what happened, and they're sitting there like probably telling them that they broke into the pool. But then while they were sitting there, I guess it was all calmed down, so then they get up and start running away. And then they heard one of the men scream, come back, and then she shouted, or what? And then they heard another gunshot. But they were too far away, so they kept running. And then at the time, it was around 6 p.m. and they weren't near their house at all. And so they went to a bunch of strangers' houses and knocked on their doors to ask them if they could drive them all home. Strangers. And I'm guessing nobody would answer the door or give them a ride. But then later they saw this man walking and they asked him if he could give them a ride, and he said yes. But then he didn't drive them to their house and he kept driving past it. So at this point they were getting worried because they're like, where is he taking me? And so in the car, they called 911. And while they were calling 911, the man was driving and he was really mad and he was yelling at them like, stop, stop. And so the police, I guess they were telling the police where they were, or the police were tracking them, but the police eventually found them and pulled the guy over because he had to obey the red and blue flashing lights. So then they pulled him over, and then I guess that the kids got a ride home in the cops' car. So then I guess the kids got a ride home with the cops, and then they got home and they were in a lot of trouble, and they got a really big lecture from their parents, and that is the end of the story. What's my moral of the story? Moral of the story, if you try to break into a place, which you shouldn't at first, and then get caught by the cops and then run away and then get a random ride home from a man, and he starts driving past your house when you specifically asked him to drop you off at your house, just kick back and enjoy the ride, man. You don't know where he's taking you yet. It could be the mall. It could be Target or Chuck E. Cheese, where a kid can be kidnapped. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching my YouTube video and listening to my stories as always. If you like this video and my story times, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel so that I know that you like these and I will do way more of them. Okay, bye!